Hello students, today we'll talk about a famous poet Alfred Tennyson. Alfred Lord Tennyson is a leading Victorian poet. Tennyson is called a representative poet of Victorian era. Students, Victorian era covers the period of Queen Victoria's reign in England, that is from 1837 to 1901. And he is called the representative poet because his poetry reflects all the prevalent tendencies of that very period. And Victorian era is known for the great political and social and religious changes in the history of England. Students, you have to keep in mind one important fact, that this was the period when Darwin's book, The Origin of Species, was published. And this was the book which has changed the whole mode of thinking of the people. It was the book which just polished everything with a scientific outlook and questioned the traditional religious faith. Similarly, in the political field, it was the age of the rise of democracy in England. So in all, it was a complex era. And this very complexity is reflected in Tennyson's poems. The next important fact which is to be keep in mind about Tennyson, that he had been the poet laureate of Great Britain and Ireland during Queen Victoria's reign. The term poet laureate, this is used for a poet who is officially appointed by the government to represent or to compose for the important political or courtly events. So the chief features of Tennyson's poetry are a reflection of doubts and uncertainties of Victorian society. Secondly, there are beautiful nature pictures in his poetry, and it shows his love for nature. And thirdly, his poems are very lyrical. They are known for their musicality. And the fourth is the metrical variety. Just on the basis of the variety of use of meter in his poetry, he is also called a great craftsman, a great artist, literary artist. And the last, the very important feature of his poetry is the pictorial quality. Means his poems are rich with imagery. There are beautiful word pictures. Famous works of this distinguished Victorian poet are his first collection, that is Poems by Two Brothers, which was published in 1827. The next important collection is Poems Chiefly Lyrical. It was published in 1832. And the third is Ulysses. It's a very famous poem based on a historical theme. It was published in 1842. Then there is another lyrical piece, The Princess, a Medley. It was published in 1847. And In Memoriam, that was published in 1850. It is one of the well-known elegies in English poetry. The last is Idylls of the King, that was published in 1859. And in your syllabus, you are supposed to study 2 poems by Tennyson. In our next videos, we will talk about those very poems which are prescribed in your syllabus.